FDR said basically the same thing that Barack Obama is saying. It is the progressive dream that there needs to be a new Bill of Rights. In fact, Pat, do you happen to, can you just search real quick the Bill of Rights, FDR's Bill of Rights?
I have the...
you have the original?
I think I have his...
Original speech?
I think so.
Of course you do. How could I doubt you?
I know.
Pat's Audio Vault.
Who doesn't have FDR's speech at their fingertips?
Of course.
You don't have it.
Let's see. Hang on. I'm still looking. Stall for me.
FDR had a Bill of Rights where he said you're going to have housing and health care and guaranteed jobs because those are not in the Constitution. And so he wanted to introduce exactly what Barack Obama says, that the Constitution is a document of negative liberties, what the government cannot do, not a document of the things that they must do. And so they wanted to change that. He wants to change it. FDR wanted to change it. And go ahead, Stu.
Sorry, I just saw this as I was searching for it. One of the more amazing revelations in Michael Moore's new film, Capitalism, A Love Story, is his discovery of long-buried archival footage of Franklin D. Roosevelt detailing his planned but never enacted Second Bill of Rights.
Yep, and here it is. Do you want it? Yeah,
know? Go ahead.
All right.
Here it is.
Necessitous men are not free men. People who are hungry, people who are out of a job, are the stuff of which dictatorships are made. In our day, these economic truths have become accepted as self-evident. We have accepted, so to speak, a second Bill of Rights, under which a new basis of security and prosperity can be established for all, regardless of station or race or creed. Among these are the right to a useful and remunerative job in the industry,
Right to a job.
or shops, or farms, or mines of the nation. The right to earn enough to provide adequate food and clothing and recreation.
How much is that?
The right of farmers to raise and sell their products at a return which will give them and their families a decent living. The right of every businessman, large and small, to trade in an atmosphere of freedom from unfair competition and domination by monopolies at home or abroad. The right of every family to a decent home.
Oh, nice.
The right to adequate medical care.
Medical care.
And the opportunity to achieve and enjoy good health.
Okay, stop. There they are. You have a right to a home. You have a right to a job. You have a right to a certain kind of wage. You have a right to health care. Now, these are all new ideas that FDR said we should have as a new Bill of Rights. Barack Obama later talks about this, that the Constitution is a document of negative liberties. I believe it's Cass Sunstein has written in one of his books, John Holdren or Cass Sunstein, look it up. One of them, in fact, we have audio of them. Don't we have audio of a second Bill of Rights? We do. I know. Right. I've seen it. I've seen and heard the audio and seen the video. Yeah. The second Bill of Rights, where he says basically the same thing, that we need to introduce and pass a new Bill of Rights, which would include health care. Well, if the great thinkers of the progressive movement, if they knew that they needed to pass a second Bill of Rights to get health care, where in this Constitution is it? Why wouldn't that be redundant? Why would you have to pass something new to get health care?
Right, because they talk about health care being a right all the time. But if it really was a right, why would they try to do a second Bill of Rights that included it, and which, of course, was never actually done?
If you notice, he used a key word at the beginning of that speech. These rights we now find self-evident. He's using the founders' own words. We now find these rights to be self-evident, but they're not self-evident. They weren't self-evident in 1933. They may have become self-evident to a lot of people now because the progressives have been saying for a very long time. It's your right. It's your right. It's your right. It's your right. It is Cass Sunstein, is it? The nudge guy. So now let me ask you. It's clearly not a right. It's nowhere in the Constitution. You do not have a right to health care. For the very first time ever in the history of our country, we are about to pass a law that requires you to buy something from a private company or, just get off and get onto the dole of the government, but it will require you to purchase something to be a legal citizen. Never been done before. Purchase something. You want car insurance? No, I don't. Okay, well, then you don't drive. But you can take a bus, you can ride your bike, you can do whatever you want. You don't have to buy car insurance because you don't have a right to drive. It's a privilege. Never before have we had to buy something from a private company. All right. So let's look at the constitutionality of that. The government is forcing you to buy something. Do they have a right to do that? No. But the argument will be made, well, now, wait a minute. They have a right to tax you. It's for the common good. Yes, yes, yes. They do have a right to tax you now, don't they? For the common good. But they don't have a right to force you to buy something. So is it possible that maybe we could settle this constitutional squabble once it's finally brought up? Once this nightmare Frankenstein healthcare package has been introduced and has been passed and has been enacted, is it possible that the court case is heard and this form of healthcare reform is found unconstitutional? That, well, you can't force people to buy anything, so we'll just have to make it a tax. And then we'll just do the government option because that's our only option. I contend the answer to that one is yes.